Welcome back. Well, we're just a day away from Valentine's Day. If you're still on the hunt for that special date, new data from dating app Hinge shows singles are looking for effort, not just income, when it comes to dating. Joining us live with advice on navigating the dating market is Hinge's lead relationship scientist, Logan Ury. She's also the author of the book, How to Not Die Alone. Logan, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Yes, thrilled to be here with you.
All right, so let's get right into it. We're seeing a very interesting shift here in what people say they're looking for when it comes to a potential partner and to dating. So talk to us about effort in dating in 2026 and why that's becoming just really important to people once again.
The hottest new dating trend of 2026 is what we're calling chalant dating. And as opposed to being nonchalant, so acting detached or pretending that you don't care, chalant dating is all about putting in visible effort and being vulnerable, even at the risk of rejection.
Could I ask you a question? Dating apps are so valuable because they're able to introduce you to people that you never would meet otherwise, right? I was on them for a long time before I met my husband. But sometimes you can just get into that scrolling mentality or you can start talking to someone and then it dies off. How do you make sure you get that date and you stand out on these apps?
At Hinge, we found that the sweet spot for getting to the date is actually faster than a lot of people think. It's after 3 to 5 days of chatting. And so we recommend use the match as a matchmaker. Oh, use the app as a matchmaker, but really get to the date as quickly as possible. And so we really encourage that people put that effort in to turn the connection on the app into a real live interaction.
That's good advice because sometimes it just turns into small talk and then it just fizzles out and you never even meet the person and actually see if you have, chemistry in person. We're also seeing Gen Z men use more of these voice notes on dating apps. So what's driving that shift towards deeper connection and using these voice notes to connect?
Yeah, so Gen Z Hinge daters tell us that about a third of them would like to be receiving more voice notes. So we know that this is a popular form of communication. And it really hits that sweet spot where it's more meaningful than a text message, but it's not as intense as a phone call.
All right, we love it. Some people don't like the voice notes, but that's, I guess, why you filter out what you're into, right? So, last question before we let you go. For someone who's early in a dating situation, trying to find their partner, what's your advice on ways to stand out this Valentine's Day without overdoing it?
Yes, so let's go back to Shalon dating and the idea of putting in effort. And right now we know that women in particular are really looking for that. So 72% of women on Hinge tell us that they'd prefer a partner who puts in more effort than one who makes more money. And so my advice is to focus on planning over paying. So really plan a great date, make a reservation, have a plan B, show that you've been listening. So plan a date that involves a thoughtful detail. If they said they've never had Burmese food, then bring over Burmese food. Really show them that you care. And the last one is climb cringe mountain. We know a lot of Gen Z daters and daters in general fear rejection. And so the more that you can embrace the idea of potentially being embarrassed or being cringe, the greater chance you have at actually finding love. Because we think of rejection as redirection. You have to get a bunch of no's on your way to getting a yes.
Yeah, dating is all about a numbers game, right? Until you find that person, your partner. But it is very tough out there. So that's some great advice for all of our viewers today. Thank you so much, and relationship scientist Logan Ury, for joining us this morning with all that great advice. And good luck to all of our singles out there looking for their partner. All right, let's send it over to
Thanks for
Mary.
having me.
Yeah, of course.